Jon Anik came out, and I really appreciate this because of Jon's humility. Jon Anik comes out, and he spoke up for Merab. And he said that Merab might already be the greatest 135-pounder ever. And Jon wasn't all tied into how many title defenses you have and finishes this. And I appreciate that. Because title defenses, it's not fair. It's not fair. If he would have had the belt 8 fights ago, he'd be on 9 title defenses. Instead, he had to have 9 victories to get the title shot. I mean, it's not right. Particularly when you look at all the world champions that he had to beat. Let's just, off the top of my head, let's go with Jose. Let's go with Pitor. Let's go with Cejudo. All right. So, I appreciate that Anik said it, but what was interesting about it is, if you want to be the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, more importantly than winning a bunch of fights or making a bunch of money or doing a bunch of press tours, one way to cut in front of all of that, and those things would be helpful. The one thing to cut in front of it, though, is to have Jon Anik say it. He is the voice of the octagon. If the leading voice of the octagon says, you are the pound for pound, or in this case, you are the 135-pound, whatever comes after that becomes true. Right? Because you can't fight for pound, and you can't fight for all time. Those are public opinions. So you have to do things that convinces the public, including the haters, that moves you so far beyond anything reasonable. Like, fighting for legacy is a extremely difficult premise. I'm not ever against tackling things that are difficult. I'm just sharing the mere premise of it, and the explanation that you would receive before setting out to do it is likely going to confuse you because you can't win it. You have to be given it by people. So if you have the voice of the octagon that comes out and says, this is the best bantamweight ever, it's now not a discussion. It just became official. If Dana White comes out and he says, this guy is going to fight this guy, it's not now a discussion. Other guys in the division don't start speaking up and calling him out and trying to get in front of it. No, it's over. It's over. That game got played up right until Dana came out and said, it's him versus him. When John McCarthy comes out and discusses rules, Jon does not discuss his opinion of what a rule should be. Jon does not discuss his opinion on what the interpretation of the rule should be. When Jon comes out and makes a statement, it is a statement of fact, but it is also absolute. It's absolute at that point. And all you would have to do to ever win an argument is say, John McCarthy says. And I've seen those arguments. They stop in that moment. We had this in amateur wrestling, a guy named Rick Tushy. But Rick Tushy had a ranking, and that was kind of official. That was given through FILA at the time, which is a bunch of crooks, and now UWW, which is some very good guys. But Rick Tushy is the final say in the United States. If you ever have a debate, no matter how far that debate goes, if you take it all the way up, it stops at Tushy. You don't even have a discussion after that. You don't have a board. You don't have an arbitration committee. You don't get a trial. You get all of those things until you get to him. And I just share with you, I kind of appreciate Jon Anik's humility in this. I appreciate that Jon was coming out like he was just like this everyman type thing. And, this is just what I think. And, oh, shucks, I seen that Merab fight a few times. Well, he's pretty good at that. It's the voice of the octagon. It's the voice of the octagon. Greatest ever is something you say. So if the voice came out and said it, that's now how it is. Like it or don't like it. Merab Dvalishvili, and I do like it because I want it on the table. Now you guys know, and I'm open. I'm biased, and I'm with O'Malley. But I've been open with you guys. But it's one more thing I would like on the table. And I do think when O'Malley beat Aljo, and the way that he beat Aljo, because Aljo was the best. Aljo was the best, and that was widely accepted. Aljo was the first time that that was accepted. We got it. And then I do think that O'Malley took that. I think when you fight, all your chips are in. If you're undefeated, you got a belt, you got a girlfriend in Quentin. No, I'm joking about that, but it's all on the line. Everything is in there. And when Aljo went into that fight and he was the all-time great, I believe that O'Malley took that from him. And if Merab has now got a hold of that, good for Merab. But let's acknowledge that today. Because if O'Malley does get over on him, a week from today, I want us to acknowledge who the greatest bantamweight of all time was. And that is another thing that I believe is up for grabs this Saturday.